You want clients on demand? We're going to tell you how that's done today. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner. Clients anytime you want them. Before we get started today, I want to give you a free gift. Top 10 marketing mistakes and how to avoid them, a free ebook. Just go to robertimbriale.com/top 10 and you can download this ebook. It's jam-packed with valuable information that saved my clients a lot of money over the years, figuring out what they were doing wrong and, more importantly, how to fix it. All right, welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner. My friend Robert Imbriale here, and I am excited today, as I always am, to do this show because I've got a guest who's going to really spill the beans on what it takes to be a very successful coach in terms of attracting clients. This is the hardest part for a lot of coaches. They try and figure out how to get clients, and I meet coaches all the time who are absolutely brilliant at what they do, but they're starving. And to me, that's a travesty because you have all this talent and coaches make such a big difference in our society. And if they're sitting there without any clients, they're not changing any lives. Or either that or they're doing it, but they're not getting paid for it. And I think that's even worse. So we're going to bust through that today. My guest today is the amazing Russ Ruffino. He's here with us today. And Russ is the founder of Clients on Demand, the most reliable client attraction system in the world. His business generated $15 million last year, and all without producing a ton of content, simply by focusing on a strong lead gen process that starts with, get this, Facebook ads to cold audiences. Russ specializes in helping experts, coaches, consultants, thought leaders, and service professionals create simple, strong, and repeatable marketing and sales processes that attract the perfect clients at the perfect price anytime they want. His average client raises their prices by 1,000%, think 10x on that one or more. And once they're up and running, attracts 5 to 10 new potential clients every single day. It's the fastest method on the planet for scaling a coaching business to the 6-figure per month mark. And I can't wait to hear more about it. Russ is a father of 2. He created a true lifestyle business by building a great team, currently about 30 people in his company. Russ enjoys traveling and helping others create business and freedom they want. And the website that you want to go look at to find out more about him is clientsondemand.com. Russ, so good to have you here. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Robert. It's great to be here, man.
Awesome. All right. We want to start talking about, because I think you have the same feeling that I do about coaches in terms of their value to our society. And the challenge that they have is finding new clients. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about let's talk about the mistakes they're making. Because I think a lot of them are, there's a lot of training out there that I think personally is just downright wrong when it comes to coaches. And let's talk a little bit about mistakes that you see a lot of coaches making. And then we'll go into the solutions.
Yeah. I mean, God, there's so many. I think the first mistake that I see people making is undercharging. So many people are charging, they set their prices based on what they see other people in the market doing. And they go, okay, well, so-and-so has been in the market for 10 years and they have a big following and they have great branding and they have all these other things. And so I have to charge less than they do, right? And so they set their prices just a little bit under that person. And it's like, there's no rhyme or reason behind that. It's just that they have this kind of low self-esteem where they think they can only charge so much. So that's the first problem we see, where in my opinion, if you're providing an outcome that's life-changing, you should be charging at least $3,000, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 for it, period, end of story. And it doesn't matter how long you've been in business. It doesn't matter how many letters are after your name or where you got certified, how many testimonials and case studies you have. We empower our clients to command those kinds of prices, even if they've never done that before. Another mistake I see coaches making is relying on this whole idea of what I call cross your fingers marketing. So that's a strategy where it's like, I'm going to build an audience first and build a big audience and try to become this like micro celebrity. And then I'll get to the point where I'm making money. That sounds good. And there's a lot of people teaching it. But once you make that decision to say, well, my path to success is I'm going to have a New York Times bestseller and, or I'm going to have, 1 million followers on Twitter, 1 million followers on Instagram, or I'm going to build this YouTube channel with millions of people watching it or whatever it is. That's a process that takes years if you're even able to achieve it at all. And so sort of the conventional wisdom is build this massive audience and then cross your fingers and hope they see your content. And then by some voodoo, you'll figure out a way to monetize that audience. And it's like, that's got to be the longest, hardest route to success that I've ever even seen. It's much simpler, and we can talk more about this. It's much simpler to just have a very simple funnel or process that gives you new clients every single day, whether you have a big audience or not. So I'd
And
say
I
those
think,
are
Russ, you're
probably
right.
two biggest mistakes I see people making.
I'll jump in right here because I think that you're absolutely right about that. A lot of people will think that they judge their success based on the size of their audience, right? And it's the wrong metric. I think it's absolutely the wrong metric. It's like you really have to look at it differently and say how many lives are you changing? Who are the people who are hiring you, right?
Well, I can't tell you how many people apply to work with us that have a much bigger social media following than I do. They've got, and you pick your platform. It doesn't matter. They got 100,000 people on Facebook. They got a hit YouTube channel. They've got a ton of people on Instagram, and they're making maybe $5,000 or $10,000 a month. Now, look, that's not chump change, but it's nothing near what they ought to be making with an audience that size. And meanwhile, they're working themselves to death. They're putting out new content every single day. They're working their fingers to the bone, just cranking out all this stuff, just trying to get noticed, trying to get that audience, trying to get that following. Then meanwhile, like your wife, your husband, your family, they're going, hey, you're doing all this work, you're in front of the computer all day, you're blogging all day, you're making videos all day. When is this actually going to turn into money? When is this going to pay off and turn into clients and impact and all the other things that you mentioned? So it's just, it's this rabbit hole that people get lost in, and they can spend years there until they finally just give up.
Yeah, and I think what it is kind of a labor of love for a lot of them. I mean, I know when I first started coaching, I mean, I was so in love with this coaching world, and this is back in 1995, and I was doing it pretty much for free at first. I coached over 2,000 people in the first 2 years that I was coaching, all face-to-face. And, I was selling seminars and such for Tony Robbins, and stuff, but there was just so much work. It's like, I didn't want to stop doing it. I didn't really care about the money. But then at the end of that, 2 years later, when I was completely burnt out after coaching, 6-7 days a week for 2 solid years, then I looked at the bank account and I'm going, holy crap, I've got nothing to show for this.
Well, that's what we tell our clients. It's like, look, if you've got a hit YouTube channel and you absolutely love it, and it's this like thing that you enjoy and you love and you wouldn't want to give it up for the world, then by all means, keep doing it. There's nothing wrong with that. But if your objective is to bring new clients into your business, to make more money, to grow your business, and to serve more people, there's just a much shorter path.
Let's talk about where the coaches really should be focusing. You talked in your bio about raising their prices, and that's one thing I see a lot in the coaching jungle on Facebook. A lot of coaches always ask, like, how do I fix my prices? How do I know what to charge? And that's one of those questions that is not so much, there's no real system behind it. It's like coaches are charging anything. I mean, you see coaches charging $100 a session. You see coaches charging $5,000 a session, right? And there's everything in between.
Yeah, so my philosophy is that your prices should be based on the value of the outcome that you deliver. So it's not about how much time you spend. It's not about getting paid by the hour. It's not about what your competitors are charging. What really matters, and the question that you should really ask yourself, is what is the outcome that I help my clients achieve, and what is that worth? So for example, let's say, that you're like a relationship coach and you help people whose marriage is in trouble and you help them turn things around and save their marriage, right? I mean, what is that worth? I have a great marriage, thank God. But if I was having marriage problems and I was looking down the barrel of a divorce, it's like, what would it be worth if I could work with you and you could tell me what to do and I could turn that whole situation around? Well, it's priceless, isn't it? So if it's priceless, at the very least, you should be charging $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 to help people achieve that outcome. Now, when you start charging prices that high, some really cool things happen. Number one, you get to work with fewer clients and still hit your income goals. So if you have like a $10,000 program, let's say, you only need 10 people a month and you're making $100,000 a month. And that's much, much easier. So you get to work with fewer clients, you get to hit your income goals. And because you're working with fewer clients, you get to provide all of them with a real VIP experience and really go to bat for them to get them the result, to get them the outcome. And another thing is that when people are investing with you at that price, believe me, they're going to show up coachable, they're going to show up resourceful, and they're going to do everything you tell them to do because now they're committed. And believe it or not, those high prices actually reassure people that you are the best. It's like if I want to get laser eye surgery or something and I'm going through the paper and I'm looking at the different places that are advertising, it's like, okay, am I really going to go get discount laser eye surgery like in Tijuana, or am I going to go to Beverly Hills and pay top dollar to get it done with the best? Because it's my freaking eyes. You can't afford a mistake. It's your marriage, it's your business, it's your health, whatever you're helping your clients do. If you are the premium priced option, they're going to automatically assume that you are the best. And if your program is structured properly, you're actually going to be the best because you can work with fewer clients, like I said, and really give them an incredible outcome.
And those clients, from my experience, are much better clients as well.
They're so much easier.
Now,
that's something like I heard people say all the time, and I never believed it. I thought, oh man, because I saw, people would charge that much, and I'd be like, oh man, if you got someone who's paying you $6,000 or $8,000, they're going to be so fussy. They're going to be so high maintenance. They're going to be a nightmare. And the opposite is true. They're the coolest people in the world. They just are like, Russ, tell me what to do. I'll do everything you say. And I don't know about you, but those are the kinds of clients that I want. And a big part of that is charging those premium prices, because I see so many coaches that are frustrated that when they enroll somebody, it's at a low price. And then they're frustrated that people don't do anything. They don't follow your advice. They don't take your coaching. And so, of course, they don't get the result. So what's really great about commanding those premium prices is like everybody wins. You win because you get to hit your income goals faster, but the client wins because you get to give them a VIP experience. They show up committed, and you actually get to do what it takes to get them that outcome.
And it's a lot, from a coaching perspective, it's a lot more fun to deal with those clients too, because they, like you said, they're much more committed. They're going to pay attention to everything you say. They're going to follow through. So you've got, your compliance is very high. And when you get the results, it's just easier because they're paying attention, rather than, somebody who paid you $100 for coaching and is really only half listening, and you can't get results with them because they're just not there. They're not committed to it. They don't have enough skin in the game to make it worthwhile for them.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So, cold Facebook advertising. You're one of the few that are actually, really skilled at doing this. I think it's one of the challenges I see with a lot of coaches, and me especially. I've run into this too. It's like, it's so difficult to try and train somebody on how to run Facebook ads. And, I just was in there yesterday and I'm like, oh no, they made some more changes to it. Now what, right? And you get lost all the time because everything's always being flipped around and changed in there. So talk a little bit about your experience with Facebook ads and maybe some ideas that you can give people to start thinking about that in terms of what they should be doing to building coaching, because it's not the norm out there. A lot of people say don't use Facebook ads for building a coaching business.
Well, that's because they don't know how to do it. If they knew how to do it, then they would tell you to do it. So What's cool about Facebook, and I don't know if Facebook even wants people to know this, but let's be honest, they know everything about you. Oh my God. And that's kind of scary from a consumer perspective, but from an advertiser perspective, it's fantastic. Where Robert, if you came to me and you were like, hey, Russ, here's my ideal client. It's, a woman between, 35 and 50 who's living in Beverly Hills and does yoga and drives an Audi and has 3 kids. You can literally target that person on Facebook. So the power of Facebook is that their ad platform can put your message in front of exactly who you want. Now, the problem with Facebook is that, like you said, it's complicated and it's difficult. And I wouldn't recommend that anybody who's listening to this just dives in and does Facebook. You really need to be working with someone who can mentor you to show you exactly how it's done. But once you get that dialed in, think about how amazing it is. You're not depending on content marketing anymore. So you don't have to blog. You don't have to post to Instagram every day. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You got your ads running, and every single day you have potential clients who click on your ad, who watch some kind of webinar or something. They're fully bought into you, to the power of what you do. And every day you have, 5, 10, 20, 30 people a day reaching out to talk to you about working together. And when you have that, you can pick and choose. You can say, hey, you know what? This person looks great. This person doesn't. I'm going to go ahead and enroll that person. And that just gives you so much freedom and confidence in your business, because you know that the next client is just right there. It's just a click away. And what's really powerful is that I see so many coaches and consultants and service providers who are totally dependent on word of mouth. They do a good job for their clients, and so they get referrals. Nothing wrong with that. But I would never, ever want my business to be dependent on word of mouth, where hey, if I don't get any referrals that month, I don't make any money. Forget that.
No.
When you get Facebook dialed in, it gives you absolute control over how many potential clients a month are reaching out to work with you. And it's incredibly powerful. So traditionally, over the course of the past 6 years, we generally earn back about $10 for every $1 we spend on Facebook. So if we have a year where we do $15 million in revenue, we spent about $1.5 million on Facebook. And I know spending $1 million on ads sounds crazy. I'm not saying you need to spend that much, but what I'm saying is, once this is dialed in, the return on your advertising investment is it's crazy.
Yeah, then you end up with what I think Jay Abraham used to talk about this, an unlimited ad budget. It's like if you're getting $10 back for every dollar you're putting in, it's a $9 net profit. You just keep putting those dollars in all day long.
Yeah, I'll do that all day. I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing that limits the growth of your company at that point is how many clients you can realistically serve and work with, and how many you want to work with, and what your goals are. I mean, maybe you just want to get to 50K a month. You don't want to get to 100K a month or 300K a month. You want to just build a nice little cozy multiple six-figure business. If that's what you want, that's great.
Yeah, and I think you have the right idea too. It's like once you dial it in, that's the key to it. I think a lot of people quit before they dial it in, or they run out of money, or they run out of patience, or who knows what, and they just don't get to that point. So getting somebody on your team to help you with that, like what you're doing with your clients, is brilliant, because you're jumping literally years of trial and error.
Oh yeah, because it's not just the ads you have to get right. It's the ads and the settings and the targeting and just all the stuff inside Facebook. But
Right.
That's just the beginning. It's like, once you get that click, what do you do with that person? Where do they go? They click your ad, and I go, where? Do I go to a webinar? Do I go to a video? If I do, what does the webinar say? What does the video say? Like, how do I take that person from click to client? And that's what we help our clients do, is not just to take people from click to client, but to take people from click to client at like a $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 price point. And that's huge, because that whole customer journey from clicking on your ad to investing with you, it's like 24 hours. So it's the shortest sales cycle you can possibly imagine. You see people talk about funnels a lot lately, and it's like they've got these funnels where it's like there's an upsell, there's a downsell, there's a cross sell, there's like the $7 tripwire, and then the $27 upsell, and then the $97 like VIP ninja version. And it's like, eventually at some point they're going to work your way towards selling you the big VIP package that you actually need, but you got to buy like 10 other things first. When I was starting my business, I was looking at that process just going like, there's got to be a better way.
Well, Russ, you know what they all end up at, right? So if you look at the structure of a lot of those funnels, they all end up at a webinar.
Exactly.
Right? At some point, you want to get them onto a webinar, and that's like 30 steps down.
Yeah, and if I know that I want to get them on a webinar, and I know that my objective is to not waste their time with some $27, whatever, ebook or video or something, but what they really need is like a $6,000, $8,000 mentoring program to really fix the problem. That's what I'm going to sell them.
Yeah.
And so when I was first starting my company, I was like, hey, you know what? What if we just kind of did away with this whole thing of complicated funnels and just actually gave people what they really needed? Yeah. And I didn't know if that was going to work, believe me, but actually it did work. And now that's the process that we teach to our clients. And if you think about it, it makes sense, because, just going back to the example from before, let's say I am in that situation where my marriage is really falling apart, and you come to me and you go, hey, here's a $7 ebook or like a $7 pamphlet, and I'm going to look at that. I'm going to go, I don't need a $7 ebook. It's like giving me a Band-Aid. I need a whole hospital. So it's like, if what they need is real mentoring to fix the problem and create a true transformation, then that's what you should offer them, period.
That makes a lot of sense. And I like the idea that, you have the thinking that I have as well. It's like, okay, how can I truncate this? How can I make this smaller? How do I go from, the $7 tripwire to the $10,000 coaching package in one step, not 15 steps?
Well, because otherwise you've got 15 different products that you have to create, right,
and maintain.
You have 15 different sales pitches. Yeah. You have inventory systems. It's just like, why? And what you're doing is you're filtering out the best people. Like I said, if I'm super committed and I need to fix this problem, you put a $7 ebook in front of me, I'm going to bounce, because I know that's not what I need. I'm not going to stick around and buy that, and then the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, hoping that you're going to put something in front of me that can really solve my problem. I'm just going to take off.
Yeah, or
so
worse.
What you're doing is you're losing the best people, the most committed people.
Yeah, exactly. Or worse, what's ending up happening is the people who do buy the $7 ebook, if you do manage to convert them, they're the worst kind of clients.
Exactly. So you're just shooting yourself in the foot. And it's like, I get it. It makes sense, because to say, well, Russ, I'm really scared and I've never done this before and never really sold that much. Maybe I've gotten clients here and there. Like you said before, I'm charging $100 an hour. Okay, fine. The idea of selling something for $7 might not be that scary to you, but it's like, if I can get you enrolling someone into something that's $8,000 and then you can truly change their life. Isn't that like way better? Isn't that what you really want?
Yeah, and you'll find, and I think you know this as well, you'll find a lot of coaches, when you start talking about numbers like this, they start, it brings up their fears. Am I really worth that? The self-esteem issues, all of that crap that comes up, that psychological stuff that needs to be dealt with, because you can't go out there and say, I've been charging $100 for coaching and now I'm going to charge $5,000. I mean, it's culture shock to them.
Mm-hmm. But you can do it. And the difference is because if I'm charging you $100 an hour, then fundamentally what I'm selling is my time, and nobody wants your time. And if I'm selling a $27 ebook, then fundamentally what I'm selling is information. And we all have information coming out of our ears. We don't want any more information. What I want is for someone to come in and fix this freaking problem once and for all. And if I understand that if by spending $5,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 with you, I'm going to fix my business or fix my marriage or fix my health or whatever it is, then I'm going to do it. And I'm going to be happy to do it. And I'm going to get in your program and I'm going to do everything you say, because I will understand that the reason I'm there isn't because you're some big celebrity, isn't because you have a huge audience, but it's because you understand my problem better than I do. And I need you to help me fix it. And that's the reason you want people signing up with you, right? You don't want people signing up with you because it's cheap. You don't want people signing up with you because you have this massive following or a celebrity, or you post pictures online of, you in a private jet or a Rolls Royce or something. No, you want people to sign up with you because they have the problem that you can fix. And when they sign up with you for that reason, they're going to show up, they're going to do everything you say, and you're going to be able to change a life.
Yeah, they're in pain, and you're coming along with the tweezers to pull the thorn out of the foot, and they'll pay anything for that because they want to get out of that pain. So, okay, so your structure is really kind of neat. I really like what you've done. You've truncated everything, and you bring them into the next step, which is a webinar for you. Mm-hmm. And I watched your webinar. It's very good, very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. So they watch the webinar, and from there, you're getting them to spend some time on the phone with you. A lot of people call it a discovery call, a strategy session, whatever you want to call it. And from there, then you'll enroll them as a client if they're a fit.
If and only if they're fit.
Right.
Yes, I'm glad you said that.
There's a screening process that has to go on, obviously, because you're not going to, just because somebody's got the money doesn't mean they're necessarily who you want to be working with, right?
Of course. And the thing is, like, it's very important that people understand that has to be real. There's a lot of talk in sales because people understand the power of this. There's a lot of talk in like traditional sales training of going like, hey, well, you got to qualify for this. This isn't for everybody, blah, blah, blah. But it's all nonsense. If somebody has a pulse and a credit card, they're gonna try to sell them something.
Right.
When you're doing this, it's got to be real. You have to really have a deep conversation with that person and find out, can I really help this person or can I not? And if you can't, then you have a moral obligation to tell that person, hey, look, I know you're excited about this. I know you're ready to sign up. I know you got your credit card in your hand, but I'm not 100% confident I can help you with this. And so I have to pass. I'm so sorry. But that's the responsibility that it takes as coaches. So like, if you look at our internal stats and our own internal metrics at Clients on Demand, it's like, sure, we might be doing $15 million in revenue a year. But what people don't understand is that we don't even make an offer to about 20% of the people that we speak to. And they could be ready to go, credit card in hand, whatever. But I train my team that if we're not 100% confident we can get someone that result, or if they just kind of have a business model that maybe isn't what we do, or for whatever reason, we always pass on that sale. And that's our duty as coaches, because my job fundamentally is to help our clients get outcomes. That's why we exist. That's why we're here. So you have to be very circumspect about who you work with and who you don't. Now that's the power, though, of having a pipeline of clients, right? Because if I'm just dependent on word of mouth and maybe I get 2-3 people reaching out to me a month to work with me, it's like, I got to pay the bills. And so you find yourself enrolling some of those people that maybe you probably shouldn't work with or you're not 100% sure about. What's great about this system is you have a pipeline of people reaching out to you every single day, and you really can pick and choose who are the ones you really want to work with, and you can pass on the ones that you don't, because you know that tomorrow you're going to get even more people reaching out.
Yeah, because what you're really saying is you're not in scarcity mode now. Now you've got literally a buffet to choose from. It's like, you know what? I'm not interested in the chicken today. I'm going to go for, the steak or the T-bone, whatever it is that else is being offered. When you have those people coming in, you get to pick and choose. When you don't, when the menu is just one option, you got to go with the option, right? Sometimes you got to make that sale.
Right, because honestly, let's be real. What are you going to do? You haven't enrolled a client in 6 weeks. You got one person this month reaching out to work with you. You're on the phone with them. You get that little feeling in the back of your neck, like, I don't know if I can really help this person. But okay, fine. I'm just going to enroll them anyway, because you have to. Because if you don't, you can't pay your bills that month.
Right.
You never want a coach or a consultant to be in that kind of position, because it forces you to make bad choices because you're operating from that energy of scarcity. But when you have an abundance of potential clients, then you can do your job right, which is you only work with the people that you know you can help.
I like that a lot. And I think a lot of coaches need to hear this message, because it's one of those things that, like I said, coaches really struggle with getting the prospects going. And, they get one and they're going to work with that one. No matter what the issue is, they're going to work with them. And often that's the wrong approach. Sometimes it's a fit, but not often.
And they're probably enrolling them at a low price.
Yeah.
So now you've got a double whammy. You've got a person that's not necessarily a great client, and they're only spending like $200-$300 with you. And so they're not super committed, and they're not really a fit. It's like, I know how that story ends.
Yeah, and at the end of it, they're not going to be happy with you. They're not going to be happy with the work you're doing. They're not going to get the result, and they can't become a testimonial to help you enroll people down the road.
Yeah, and you don't get to do what you were put on this earth to do, which is to change lives one client at a time. I mean, fundamentally, that's why we're here. To me, that's so much more meaningful than to have, a million followers on YouTube or something. Again, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'd rather have a really significant life-changing impact on a smaller number of people than just have like millions of people kind of know who I am, and maybe I touch them just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that there are some coaches out there that are going to go look at that and say, okay, I'm going to become popular. I'm going to become famous. I've run into these kind of coaches as well. They want the million people following them on YouTube. They want to get on television. They want to do. They want a best-selling book. They want all of this. They want all this fame, and they think somehow that that's going to translate into coaching clients, and it could, but it could also be for the wrong reason, right?
Yeah, and it takes years to get there. So it's like, how long are you willing to not make any money, not really enroll any clients, not really make an impact while you're building this huge following? It's funny that you mentioned this, because I just literally yesterday was reading an article that Tim Ferriss wrote on his blog, and it was something like 11 reasons not to become famous. And it just was this incredibly raw breakdown of some of the crazy stuff he's had to deal with just because he's famous. Like people showing up at his house, people trying to kidnap him at airports, like people tracking down his family, just the craziest stuff you could possibly imagine. And so he's like, look, if if you're saying to yourself, if you're thinking to yourself, hey, I want to be rich and famous, it's like, why don't you just try being rich and then see how that does? And then if you really want to be famous, you can, because being famous is definitely not all it's cracked up to be. And I mean, I just read that blog post yesterday and it just blew my mind.
Yeah, it's an eye opener. I mean, we don't think about the other side of it, but fame, when you become famous, you also give up privacy. Mm-hmm. And it's like, for me, that's a non-starter. I couldn't do that.
Hell no. No.
So yeah, I want to become rich. I want to be helping a lot of people. I want to be doing that, but I don't necessarily care about the fame. That's not my thing.
Yeah, and I think that's the way that it ought to be. And again, it's like, and then let's say you're like, Russ, I really do want to become famous. I really do want to have that New York Times bestseller. Okay, trust me, it's way easier to have a New York Times bestseller when you've got a thriving business bringing in $300,000-$400,000 a month than when you're barely scraping by. It's like when you've got this thriving business and you're enrolling these clients and you're working with them and they're getting incredible results and you're making 7 figures a year, multiple 7 figures a year, then you can do whatever you want. You can have a hit YouTube channel, you can have a hit podcast, whatever. But to try and build the audience first and then make the impact is putting the cart before the horse.
It is, and I think that's where a lot of our coaches are going wrong here. So let's talk a little bit about your process in terms of how coaches listening to this could say, "Hey, okay, I want to find out more about Russ. I want to find out how to get involved. I want to see what he can do to help me."
Sure. Yeah. So thank you for asking. The people that we work with are the people that can solve a major life or business challenge. So if you're a health coach, relationship coach, fitness coach, business coach, or if you're a high-level service provider, you're a therapist, an acupuncturist, a doctor, you're helping people solve the big challenges in life and in business. If that's you, then the best thing that you can do is reach out and book a call to speak to us. And to do that, you can go to clientsondemand.com/talk. That's going to take you to our calendar page. You can see all of our available appointment spots and book an appointment with us. And we'll get on the phone with you for about 45 minutes. And you can just tell us what's going on. Who do you want to work with? Who do you never want to work with again? Who's your dream client? And we can put our heads together and help you come up with a detailed plan of exactly how to attract those people and at what price you should be charging. And so our goal is to get you clear on those things. And then if you want our help to help you do that, we can talk about that too. But either way, it's going to be the best 45 minutes you've ever spent working on your business. We can shave so much time off your learning curve, you won't even believe it.
So the first part you brought up was really powerful, because it's like you solve a major life or business challenge. I think a lot of coaches are kind of, especially I come from the Tony Robbins world. So a lot of them are coming out of the Tony Robbins world. Tony taught us we can solve any issue, anytime, for any reason, right? And it's really difficult to sell that. It's like impossible to sell that. You got to pick one. So is that something you help them figure out even before you get started?
That's the whole, well, we start that conversation on the initial call. But that's really the whole first week of the program, is just getting you crystal clear on what is that outcome, who do you want to provide it for, how are you going to do it, what's the most efficient way, what should your price be. And once we're clear on all that stuff, then my team goes to work helping you build the marketing to support that. So that's very hands-on as well. We show you how to do the Facebook ads, but my team is right there looking at your ad copy, looking at your targeting, making sure everything is done right. If you want to, we do our Q&A calls, for example, over Zoom. We can screen share, we can look inside your account, we can do all this stuff. So it's very important we start with that clarity, because once we have that clarity, we can just take you step by step through the marketing, and it's so much easier. But when we're not clear on the beginning stuff, then the marketing isn't going to be clear either. And that's the opposite of what we want, if that makes sense.
It does, and it's one of the biggest pieces I think a lot of coaches need help with, because it really is. I mean, we talk about it in marketing 101. Okay, who's your target audience? Well, I could sell this to everybody. No, it doesn't work that way. Who is your target audience? Who is your best, your most ideal client? And it's one of those questions that people struggle with sometimes for decades because they can't figure it out.
So we like to get our clients over that hump in about 7 or 8 days. So it's an intense program. I mean, there's going to be a lot of soul searching. There's going to be hard work. But that's why it's transformational, So one of the things we do, speaking of, the enrollment calls and the conversations, is like we just get also really clear with people about what it really takes to be doing 50,000 a month, 100,000 a month, 200,000 a month, and the level of commitment that it requires to do that. So I always tell our clients, look, we can make it simple, meaning it's like step by step, do this, do this, do this, do this, but nobody can ever make it easy. You're always going to have to dig deep. You're always going to have that perseverance and that courage. But if you bring us that, then we can help you build an incredible business.
See, that's exactly the kind of information they need. One of the things I really appreciate about you, Russ, when I was looking at your stuff and I went through your webinar and went through your funnel and learned more about you, I always do that with the people I'm going to interview. And one of the things that I saw with you is authenticity was actually there. It was real. And, I could see how you do care about the client. You do care about their results. You do care about having those success stories on your website, because, those are people you've actually helped and people you can help. So I really appreciate that about you.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's the way I make all the decisions in the business, is just look, what's going to get the best outcomes for the client. We have a premium price program. We have a transformational program. It's like nothing else out there. But it's like, I've gone out there and I've hired the best Facebook coaches on the planet, the best copy coaches on the planet, marketing coaches on the planet. We have quite a few people that you might know that are there to coach our clients on like mindset and performance. Because what we realized is I can give you the best business strategy in the world, but if you can't get past your own fear, you're never going to put it into practice. So we have people there just to do that, because we all have like our entrepreneurial freakouts and meltdowns and all this other stuff. So we've really designed a program where wherever you're stuck, whatever problem you have, whether it's lack of clarity, or you don't know how to do the ads, or you don't know how to do the marketing, or fear, or you don't know how to enroll people over the phone, whatever it is, we've solved that problem like 1,000 times, and we can help you solve that problem too.
You hit it right on the head. I've my experience of teaching people marketing for many, many years is you see it in the seminars. You see them, you're giving them the best strategies, you give me everything, and you count how many people are successful, and it's like there's one here and one there. And it's all their emotional stuff that comes up. It's all their fears. It's like, have you emailed your list? Well, no. Or you'll get someone to say, have you emailed your list? Yeah, I emailed them. Well, what were the results? I don't know. I'm still waiting. Well, when did you email them? Oh, it was 6 months ago. You're still waiting for results,
Yeah.
So we have
and it's like life happens, sometimes you have people join a program and I don't know, their girlfriend breaks up with them or their boyfriend breaks up with them, or, somebody gets sick or something happens. And it's like, most programs, when you join a program and there's something bad that happens or life comes up, guess what? You just wasted your money, because now you got to deal with that thing and you'll never be able to put into practice what they taught you. The client's on demand. It's like, cool, we will help you through whatever it is you're going through. And that's the advantage of having the people that we have with the coaching background that they have, where it's like, I don't care if it's sickness or divorce or anything, we can coach you through that process too. So the whole program, the whole company from the ground up is just designed to help you win. It's designed to really help you get that result. So it's like, look, I'm not a genie, I'm not God. I can't snap my fingers and hand someone a $600,000 business or something. But what I can do is hold up our side of the street better than any other program out there. So it's like, it's a two-way street. You come to us, you hold up your side of the street, we will blow you away with the way that we hold up ours.
Yeah, and that is the number one, lesson you could take from this interview, is that, you're going to try to do it on your own. You can get some way down the road, but why would you do it that way when you could just pay somebody else to guide you through it? And I think what I'm getting, and I'm not sure if I'm accurate here, but what I'm getting is you're going to teach the coach all the steps so that at some point they don't need to keep working with you if they didn't want to, and they would still know what to do to continue to build their coaching business.
What we call it is a done with you program. So we show you how to do it. Like, so for example, the webinar, I show you slide by slide, step by step, how to construct your webinar. You construct it and then you send it to us We go through it, we put our heads together, we rewrite it and pass it back and forth until it's great. So what's cool about this is, like, I understand that most of the coaches out there, they're not marketers, they're not ad people, they're not copywriters, they're not salespeople, and they don't have those skills. And so what we do is we say, okay, cool, you don't have that skill, you can borrow ours. Let us help you write that headline. Let us help you write those bullet points. Let us help you craft that webinar so that you end up with something fantastic that actually works. Because at the end of the day, that's really what it's about. Are you getting the clients that you want at the prices you want, or are you not? And if you're not, you need to reach out so we can help you do that. So it's clientsondemand.com/talk is that link.
And it makes sense as a coach. You want to hire a coach and to learn the things you don't know. And this is an area that a lot of coaches struggle with. So clientsondemand.com/talk. And you can get on a call with, not with you directly, but one of your teammates, right? One of your team members.
Yeah, but they know what they're doing. They're not just like random people we hired. They know their stuff backwards and forwards.
They're not some $10 an hour employee that doesn't know what they're doing. Okay, great. Good to hear that.
Yeah, we outsource those calls to India. I mean, it's all good. No. These are guys that have been with me for like years. They really know their stuff.
Good. Excellent. Russ, I want to thank you. This is a lot of fun. I really appreciate you coming on board today and joining us. I know you're very busy and got a lot going on and having a lot of fun. And your authenticity and integrity stands out head and shoulders above everyone else. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that very much.
All right. Thanks so much.